This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period. I think that he is frustrated, like I am and like so many others, to see stories come out that are patently false, to see narratives that are wrong, to see quote-unquote fake news. I made a mistake. There's no other way. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I got into a topic that I shouldn't. No, I'm not confused. I think that the words that are being used to describe it are derived from what the media is calling this. He's been very clear that it is extreme vetting.
It's the end for the man that has been the face of the White House from the beginning of the Trump administration. After only 6 months in office, 6 months on the job, Sean Spicer announced his resignation from the White House today. On Twitter, he said, "It's been an honor and a privilege to serve at POTUS, at Real Donald Trump, and this amazing country. I will continue my service through August." Spicer had a rocky start from the beginning, as you very well know, and his resignation is part of a communications shakeup at the White House. Joining me tonight is somebody who has been inside the briefing room day in, day out, Brian Karem, the executive editor of the Montgomery County Sentinel and the Prince George's County Sentinel. What do you make of what happened today?
Well, I think we were all expecting it. It's probably sooner rather than later. I think it was he was destined to leave and had been seen minimally around the White House for the last 3 or 4 weeks. But since that first trip overseas, when he didn't get a chance to meet the Pope, I think the president kind of dissed him there, and I think he's been on his way out ever since.
Didn't meet the Pope. That was the beginning of the diss.
I think, yeah, that was the one. That was off the cliff moment.
Absolutely.
Before then, I mean, having to come out your very first press conference and sell you, you know, we called it the Wizard of Oz moment. You know, don't believe what the pictures say, believe what I'm telling you.
Right. And John's been around long enough. You guys have been around long enough. You know the deal. He knows the deal. Trying to do my job, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, a lot of people said that, you know, people inside and outside the Republican Party said that, you know, he'd done an admirable job trying to put an admirable face on the administration, but it's been a difficult task at best.
Okay, why should people outside of the Beltway, people in Montgomery County, Prince George's County, really care about this?
Well, I think what you care about is, are we going to get real information? This is a president that's had only one real news conference. And so what we've been looking at in order to understand his strategy and his policies is that daily briefing. And if you cannot trust the person who's giving you the information there, then that speaks volumes as to the trust level of the president.
Yeah, and for people who don't recall the face, this is a guy who stood up in a press conference and challenged the administration. Correct?
Yes. I just wanted him to stop bullying us and quit telling us that we're fake media.
Right, okay. There's a new guy, Anthony Scaramucci. He jumped right in today and answered questions from the press. Don't know if there was a lot of specifics and information there, but watch the new communications director in action.
I would love to have Sean here. Sean decided that he thought it would be better to go, and for me, as it relates to Sean, it speaks volumes to who he is as a human being, who he is as a team player. Okay, so his attitude is, if Anthony's coming in, let me clear the slate for Anthony, and I do appreciate that about Sean, and I love him for it. But I don't have any friction with Sean. I don't have any friction with Reince. This is the White House, the United States of America, and we're serving the president. And I want to make sure that our cultural template is that we put the president's agenda first, which is perfect for the American people.
Okay, if you don't know anything about this guy, you know two things now. You know he's from New York, and you know that he's smooth, okay? Somebody on CNN said that Scaramucci seems like the type of person that Donald Trump sees in himself when he looks in the mirror.
Hollywood hairdo, yeah. I think he relates to Scaramucci. I think he loves the guy because, well, Scaramucci told us like 14 times in 2 minutes how much he loves Donald Trump. He was there today speaking to a audience of one.
Audience of the president. But give us some background on this guy. I understand he's very good at mixing it up with the press. He is not Sean Spicer.
No, he's a hedge fund guy. He wrote a best-selling book. He told us all the copies are in his basement. We could come see him. Went to Harvard Law, has worked hard, brought himself up from nothing, and he comes to the White House kind of outside as an outsider. He's not really a public relations guy, but he's very smooth working with the press and hopes to kind of turn that into his advantage.
But is there not a backstory as to why he's just now getting to the White House? He wanted to come early, right?
Well, a lot of people didn't want him there, including Spicer and Bannon and Priebus. I mean, there are people that have said, don't bring this guy in.
Because?
Well, because they think that he's a little too adoring of the president, doesn't see things
Won't tell
right.
the president what perhaps he needs to know.
Won't speak truth to power.
Well, and the president's already demonstrated that he'd prefer not to have people. Well, he's his own press guy, right?
Yes.
Donald Trump is his own press guy.
Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, how do you provide a strategy for a guy who will upset the strategy at a moment's notice with a 140-character tweet?
Yeah, go talk to the New York Times.
Right.
And throw you under the
We've
bus.
seen it, yeah, and throw all of his people under the bus. And we've seen it time and again. So stepping into that mall, you know, even if you're the biggest sycophant in the world, at some point in time, it gets to be too much.
Is it likely that somebody else is going to follow? Chief of Staff, Steve Bannon?
There are all kind of
others?
rumors. I don't think Bannon's going anywhere. He's been compared to a Republican tick that he's dug himself in and will stay. I think Priebus could go, and of course there's always the Jeff Sessions question. I mean, the president hasn't been too fond of him, and the big question is, did Mueller pass the red line, and are we going to see the special prosecutor?
And what about this talk? These reports that they're researching a possible pardon for a number of people.
Well, we've heard those rumors, but they denied them today, or said that they didn't want to speak to hypotheticals. Sarah Huckabee Sanders came out and said doesn't want to speak to that because it isn't before them, but he reserves the right to do whatever a president.
And she didn't
can
give
do.
you anything that would indicate that Mueller's in trouble, that the president may be looking to fire him.
They're very good at not giving us anything. Period. So that's not new.
All right. Good talking to you again.
Good talking to you.
Okay, let's.